Have you ever genuinely prayed and waited on God for something, but things start becoming even worse than they were before you started praying and waiting on God for this thing? You start to think your prayers are not working, so you quit. I know, I've been there. But yesterday I saw an amazing story on waiting and praying, and this has changed my perspective entirely on waiting on God, and I'm very sure it can help you too. This story yesterday encouraged me so much, and I know this is a real life struggle that many people go through. So stick with me while I explain this story and I explain what I took from it, and I'm very sure you can also learn from this too. So this story is about a girl named Bella. Let me describe Bella a little bit. Bella is a very hardworking, diligent, and respectful lady. She's old enough to get married, but she still lives with her mother. She has siblings, and she doesn't really have a lot of friends. She just focuses on her work, and she does really well with it. So this day, Bella was at work. There was a promotion list for that day for people who were going to be promoted at their workplace. So Bella went to check if her name was part. 90% of people in that office were promoted, and Bella was part of the 10% that was not promoted. Even though she puts in the work, she's diligent, she's hardworking, she's respectful, she's honest, she does everything that she needs to do, but she still was not among the people who were promoted. And obviously, anyone would feel bad. On her way back, she felt bad and she questioned a lot of things. And she said she decided to go on a prayer time and a fasting time to trust God and to move forward in her life. That was her exact word, that she needs to move forward because things were becoming really, really tough one. Her life was looking like she's going in circles. So that night, she prayed all through the night. She declared verses, Bible verses, and scriptures over her life. She begged God, she prayed over her future marriage because she wasn't married. It was about her job and everything just working in her favor, about moving forward. The next morning, she felt at peace. Her family noticed and they were happy for her. On going to work, she met this neighbor. Let's name her Mrs. Rachel. So she met Mrs. Rachel. Mrs. Rachel is a very rude old lady, and she's just always like finding everybody's trouble in the environment. So that day she went to meet Bella and she was like, can't you quit? Just trying to make her upset, but Bella just like said, I'm sorry ma, and she left and she booked the taxi to work. So at work that day, the owner of the company, which is Mr. Brown came to work that day and he went to see Bella's boss, which is Mr. Peter. So they were talking about business stuff, and all of a sudden Bella came in. She didn't know they were there, and she knocked and she apologized and she said she needed to drop a file and also explain something. Mr. Peter, which is Bella's boss, was upset because Mr. Brown was there and was like, she needs to just get out because he's busy with someone. But Mr. Brown did not mind, so he told Bella that she should explain what she needs to explain, that he wants to hear her out. And she explained everything. Obviously, she speaks well, she's good at what she does. She explained, and Mr. Brown was very impressed. When she left, Mr. Brown asked Mr. Peter if she was part of the people promoted, but he said no. And Mr. Brown insisted that she get promoted immediately. So Mr. Peter, because he didn't like this, he did not tell Bella that she had gotten promoted by the owner, and he did not treat Bella well. He started making life miserable for her, started discouraging her, shouting at her, making her feel horrible about herself. And that day was on a Friday. He gave her more work than she would do on a weekday for the weekend. He gave her so much work for that day, and he said she needed to submit it on Monday. And even when she stood up for herself, she was like, this is much. I mean, this is a lot of work. Can't she like split it? And he started calling her lazy, started making her feel bad. Because of this, when Bella got home, she was discouraged and quit on fasting, and she stopped praying. At work the next week, Bella gave an outstanding performance and suggestion for the company's growth at the meeting. But Mr. Peter, which is Bella's boss, was always making her feel bad and who is always throwing her ideas to the trash. He did the same thing at this meeting in front of everybody, and he said Bella did not say anything good and he threw her decision to the trash. And when another person in that same meeting said the exact same thing Bella said, but in a paraphrased way, Mr. Peter commended the person and said Bella should learn from this person. And even when Bella tried to like say sorry, we said the exact same thing, but Mr. Peter still insisted that Bella did not know what she was saying and she's just useless. After the meeting, Mr. Brown, which is the owner, called Mr. Peter and asked him if Bella's promotion has been finalized, and he said, yeah, he has promoted her, but it remains paperwork. And that was a lie, obviously. He has not said anything to Bella. Bella did not know about this. So also immediately after the meeting, Bella went to use the restroom, and in the restroom she overheard our colleagues gossiping about concerning what happened in the meeting. Her colleagues were saying she's cursed and nothing goes well for her, even though she does all the extra work, even though she's intelligent, even though she knows what she's doing. She never gets promoted, she never gets encouraged, and she's just always stagnant, even though she's been there the longest. And when she overheard all this, she was feeling very bad in her spirit, and she decided that that day she was going to quit. But she was still contemplating on whether or not she should quit. So that evening, when she was about to go home, she was like explaining something to a fellow co-worker, and her boss came and was like shouting at her about how she stood up for herself at the meeting, that she should have never talked back at him. And she was like, she's sorry, she didn't mean to, but she just didn't know why he didn't accept her suggestion, even though it was the same thing. And again, he kept on saying, you're standing up against me, you're talking back at him again, you're very rude, you're very, they just kept on raining curses and negative words on her. And this was at this moment Bella knew that she did not want to do this work anymore, so she quit right there. And her boss was obviously happy. He was like, oh, that's good riddance, that she should get out of the workplace and bring a resignation letter and all of that. And her boss called the owner that she had quit, and obviously the man couldn't do anything, but he was surprised as to why she quit, but he just let it go. On her way home, Bella regretted her decision because she didn't have any other option. But she just knew it was a good decision in a way, because the work was a toxic place for her. So when she got home, her family consoled her. They were sorry about it, and they said maybe she should start her fast again. Her mom encouraged her to start her fast again and gave her some scriptures that backed up her a suggestion. And she was like, oh, that's true, that she stopped the fast because of the boss, and now she doesn't have anything to do, so she'll continue the fast and she'll continue praying even more. After the prayer at night that day, she felt uplifted next morning and encouraged, and she had an interview that same day, and her mom was very, very happy for this new improvement. In the afternoon that day, Mrs. Rachel came to Bella and started complaining about her, always singing and praying at night. And as usual, because Bella is respectful, she apologized and let it go. Had a job interview, and she went for the job interview. The man was very impressed about the interview and how she answered the questions very, very well. And but he said they did not have a good spot for her, that she deserves better, and so he couldn't employ her. Bella got sad, but she didn't give up. She didn't lose hope. She kept on fasting and praying and trusting God for something good. The next morning, Mrs. Rachel went to Bella's landlord and started complaining about a flower pot that was in front of her house, that someone who looked like Bella broke this flower pot. And her landlord was confused, because Bella, you didn't see Bella, you saw someone who looked like her, and how could you say she's the one? But Mrs. Rachel kept on, nagging and complaining that Bella was the one who stole the flower pot, and she's always singing at night. But Bella's landlord did not agree with her, because he knows Bella very well. So he went to meet Bella, comforted her, and Bella was really upset and told the landlord that she did not do anything like that. And when Bella got in to her house after speaking to the landlord, she told her mom that she wanted to quit fasting and show Mrs. Rachel who she really is. But her mom encouraged her not to do so, because this is becoming like a pattern. When she starts fasting again, something goes wrong and she will stop. So her mom encouraged her not to stop fasting, that she should endure and she should keep on fasting and praying and trusting God, and she should not get distracted by anybody. Next day, Bella had another interview. This interview was by stages. So she was interviewed by a young man, the first one, and the second was by the owner of the company after the young man's report on Bella. So she got through the second stage. The two men who were the final ones who interviewed Bella, they were very, very impressed, and they gave her the job right there and then. She went home and she was really, really, really happy. She was joyful. She was filled with so much joy. Her family was happy for her. Her mom was grateful to God. Her brother suggested they should come to his church, because he wanted to give a testimony on her job. So they got to his church, and she met the man who interviewed her, the first man who interviewed her, and his name is Andrew. So she met Andrew there, and she was like, oh, hey, it's you. And they started talking. They vibed really, really well. And from the looks of things, the man had feelings for her, and she also did too. Unknowingly to Bella, his aunt is Mrs. Rachel. So Andrew came to visit his aunt, and from there, because they exchanged addresses and contacts, so from there he came to see Bella, and he told Bella that we just came to see his aunt, and she was like, "Oh, who is his aunt? Does she live around here?" And she found out it was Mrs. Rachel, and she was like, "Oh, okay." But before that, when Andrew went to see his aunt, Mrs. Rachel spoke really well about Bella, even after all the insults, which shows that God truly, truly works through people. No matter how someone hates you, when it is your time to get something, God is going to make everybody around you favor you, even though they did not like you initially. So how the story ended, Andrew and Bella started talking, and eventually they got married. So my take from this particular story is that even when you're not seeing what God is doing, even when you can't see anything going better or anything improving, God is actually working in the background and is making things work together for your good. When Bella didn't know that she had gotten the promotion, she couldn't see anything good happening, so she quit, and she thought nothing was going on or nothing was happening for her good. But God was actually working in the background with the conversation Mr. Brown had with Mr. Peter on insisting a promotion, but she couldn't see the background. She could only see the physical, and because of Mr. Peter was being angry at her for no reason and always treating her bad, so that was the physical. She couldn't see what God had already done in the background. So whatever you're going through, just know God is actually working something in the background for your good, even though things are not looking good in the physical, in the front. The second thing I learned is surround yourself with godly people. Bella had a mother, she had a sibling, she had a family with her to support and encourage and to even pray for her. Surround yourself with positive people, positive, godly relationships and friendships, because that's what is going to help you whenever you're in time of distress or you need help. That is what's really going to sustain you. Because if Bella did not have a mother with her, she would have given up on fasting. She would have forgotten she even needed to pray, and she would have even she would have stopped the fasting. Even the second time when she went back, she would have stopped and given Mrs. Rachel the insult she deserved. She would have gone against Mrs. Rachel, and probably Mrs. Rachel would have not said anything good about her to this guy. So everything just worked together. Like, always have a positive and godly relationship in your circle, because you truly, truly need it more than you can think of. In I learned is to be hardworking and diligent. Bella deserved the promotion. Imagine if you were not hardworking or diligent. Like, it would even be easier to push you aside. But Bella deserved the promotion. She got favor in the eyes of Mr. Brown, which is the owner, because she was diligent, she was hardworking, and because God also brought that favor for her. But mainly because she was diligent and hardworking. If she didn't have anything good to say, the man would have not even cared enough to give her the promotion. But she proved herself because she had worked hard. She has gained the knowledge and the experience. So whatever you need to do right now to gain that knowledge and experience, start doing it so you can get favor in the eyes of people, in the eyes of people that are top, people that hide there, and God will do the rest. You do your part and God will do the rest. I was so grateful to God about this video when I watched it yesterday, and I just decided to share. Please, please, please click that subscribe button if you truly learned, because I'm very sure you did. And if you're still watching to now, God bless you so much, and I'm grateful for your presence here, and I hope we can grow a community together. I hope you can encourage me on this platform, because sometimes I get discouraged on continuing this channel, but I just pray you can encourage me and we can all grow together as a Christian community. God bless you. Have a blessed week, and yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching. Bye.